please. Anybody happy to be here today? I'm not seeing anything in the chat as yet. No, oh, well done, well done. Excited. Wow. I love that. I love that. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm very excited. That says Rory. Wow. That's awesome. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and parents, my name is Dion Lafoucard. I am the Technical Director for the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you today on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association and on behalf of the FIFA Normalization Committee, Trinidad and Tobago FIFA Normalization Committee. Today we have with us a special treat. All right, and we also have a little surprise in for you guys. We have a special treat. We have with us Akeem Stewart, who is the Paralympic champion for Trinidad and Tobago, right? World renowned. And we also have, as an added treat, also Miss Karyn Forbes, who is also one of our current Trinidad and Tobago national footballers. So Karyn is going to speak more at the end of this coming to the end of the session. And Akeem will be more to the front. But before I introduce you guys to Akeem, I would like to start with a little prayer. Dear God, I thank you for this opportunity today. Thank you that we have Akeem and Karyn to join us today. We thank you that we are alive. We think of people also who are in very difficult situations at this time, what the COVID is presenting. We pray that those who are ill are healed. Protect people from the COVID. We also pray for the people in America with the building that has fallen down, and they have over 150 people who are missing. We pray that those people are found safely, and we pray for all those families in this time of need. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So without any further ado, I would like to turn the floor over and, to Mr. Akeem Stewart. Akeem, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good.
My name is Akeem Stewart, and I'm the Trinidad and Tobago national record holder. I'm also a Paralympian and Paralympic champion, world record holder, and I'm happy to be with you guys this afternoon.
Akeem, we are also very happy to have you. So Akeem, based on the theme that we are using, there is hope. Can you share how does that resonate with you when you say there is hope?
Well, I think it means a lot to me because I know me starting as an athlete in my childhood, there was an old saying in my mind that there's always hope and possibility in everything you do. Once you go full 100 and you go committed, always have God with you. And there was really hope for me because I remember there was certain persons telling me that it was not possible for me to be an athlete. And my main mindset was to prove them wrong and to create a legacy for me and future athletes taking part in the same sports I'm doing.
So Akeem, I want to build a little bit on that. So these are people who were saying to you, you would never be an athlete. Were these people friends or family? Who were these people in your life?
It's a combination of it wasn't family to say. My family is very supportive, because track and field is a family tradition for me. So, I guess that is the way I had the mentality to be a great athlete or to be the person I am today. The support is always 100. My friends, I have good friends. My friends make sure I train, make sure I stay committed to the sport and, follow my programs, stay away from trouble. But, in life, there's always good and bad people. They always are the naysayers, and they are the one who really motivate you to do good things or bad things. And fortunately for me, they encourage me to do good things. I didn't want to prove my family wrong. I didn't want to make them sad or have them feeling any type of way by not living up to expectations. So, I'm thankful for everyone who had a part to play in my career.
So you're saying, Akeem, with your belief in God and your very strong, family support, you were able to ignore, if I could use that word,
Yeah.
and to put aside all the negative things that were being said to you. Was there any
Yeah.
point that you felt, man, this is too much? If I have to be an athlete and go through this negative stuff, is there any point you felt, what did that make you feel?
Well, you know, we at the end of the day, we're still human beings. So no one again, sometimes somebody might tell you something, and it's up to you as the individual to interpret what they're saying and to pick sense from nonsense. You know, because even though I remember, I can recall 2015, I had a knee injury where my physiotherapist and my doctors tell me, Akeem, that is it for the season.
Wow.
But I've been training whole of 2014 coming into 2015 preparing for these games, and the physiotherapist, that was just their opinion. And I've been doing my own training for myself, you know, going and train. I'm the only person training in the sporting arena. Everybody else on off season. And I still went out and I broke a world record. I won 2 gold medals in Toronto. So it doesn't really matter what people say. It's up to you as the individual to have a mentality, have a goal and work towards attaining a goal.
That's very, 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 very powerful and very, very commendable at the same time. Akeem, yeah. Obviously we have boys and girls, and we have people from different parts of the world on with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? What was that journey like as a youth coming up and then going into World Games, Olympics? Just share with us that journey a little bit, please.
Well, everybody will see me as a champion now, a world record holder, but there was a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices, you know, because me being a teenager, I didn't get the opportunity to socialize as much, go to my friends' party. I didn't have that kind of luxury, you know, because at the end of the day, I know I had something to accomplish. I really wanted to make my family proud, and that was my main goal. So, you know, when other kids going to party, other kids going on, you know, line play in the evening times, I had training, you know, and it was a lot of sacrifices as a young athlete. And today I'm truly happy to say that I'm proud that I took the grind and I really come out and be the person I am today.
Was it just like, you know, you started, what age did you start really putting in type of training?
I started track and field when I was 14 years old. You know, my dad was my first coach, so it was tough. Having your parents as a coach, you can't really slack off or give any kind of trouble like the other kids do because they're entitled to get licks, you know, so that was fun, but it was also tough.
And so you started at 14, and as you say, having your parents as a coach was a little challenging at times. And you talked about, you know, making sacrifices, probably seeing other youths going out and play and having what would be considered for them a good time, and you having to go to the track and doing different things. What was that like? So I know Akeem is getting his device sorted out. Akeem, are you still there? And while Akeem is getting his stuff sorted out, anybody, I want you you guys use the raise hand option. Use the raise hand option. What do you think of what Akeem has said so far in terms of, have any of you been able to make that sacrifice, had to make that type of sacrifice while your friends are hanging out? And anybody want to unmute and tell me? Anybody want to unmute and tell me, or raise your hand so we can acknowledge you? Any of you had to make that type of sacrifice? Your friend is out there, your friends are playing and having a good time, and you had to be dedicated. It must be somebody in there, somebody on the call. One of the youths. Anybody wants to share? Can anybody share? Anybody wants to share? Come on, great to hear you guys' voices. Come on. We must have somebody there who has gone through a little bit of what Akeem just talked about. Yes, we have a hand. Trevor McLean. Trevor, please unmute and speak, please. Go ahead, Trevor. Welcome. Sorry, Tivan. Sorry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So in terms of people telling you that you wouldn't be an athlete, I started track and field around 13, and it was a bit of a challenge because my father went to the same school as I did, and
Mhm.
it was a challenge living up to his standard. And people would tell me that I wouldn't reach as far as my father, but I would try my best to train at home, and when I go out in school, try my best to prove myself. But how would you say I should handle that? Like, should I just focus on myself or try to surpass my father standard?
But definitely, I would say you should focus on yourself. And I would say there's no comparison with you and a father because it's two different individuals, you know. So always set a standard to be better than a father, you know, because if you settle to be as good as a father or slightly better than a father, eventually will be fall in the same bracket as a dad, you know. So let's stay committed. Wherever you're doing home, continue doing it. And if you also feel free to message me on Instagram if you need any sort of a tips or anything like that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Akeem, when you're speaking with the mic, just hold the mic a little closer to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Akeem, that's brilliant advice. You know, and I want to go back, Akeem, a little bit into your childhood.
Yeah.
At what point, you know, so you started at 14. At what point did you say, I really think I can make something of myself? I'm not sure. I don't know if you were thinking right away from World Games and Olympics. At what point did you say, was it a coach, or what made you really think that, hey, I can become something?
Well, it will always follow my dad, you know, because this is a funny thing to me. I remember every Olympics, every 4 years, every time that is doing the men's shot put or the men's discuss, my father will make us come watch the event. And every time someone throw and they know they throw a really good throw, he have us doing push-ups, you know. And to me, it was fun because we used to try to see who could do the most push-ups or stuff like that. And to me, I think that where my drive and my love for the game began, you know, because at first, as a young artist, I used to mainly do track and field just to say I make a national team, to get national clothes, say I went somewhere. But after coming back from my first Skyfly game, which would have been St. Kitts, I came fifth, and that was the very same position. So from there on, I said, I need to come back home and show my father I can do this. I need to bring back home hardware, which is medals. You know, so I went out and I came second in discus and third in shot put, which was two personal bests, and I did it as I did it standing, while other throwers been doing it with technical, like a rotation or glide. So, you know, that was, my father was truly, truly happy, and I think I did owe that to my father, seeing that he went to his Skyfly game and he didn't win a medal. So it was my responsibility to make sure and go and get medals.
Wow, wow. And for the people on the call, Akeem, who are involved in different sports, can you tell them what different events as a Paralympian that you have to compete in?
I do the shot put. I do shot put, discus, javelin in Paralympics. And I also do shot put and discuss with the regular able-bodied guys. So yeah, I basically compete 2 seasons in 1 calendar year. So while when some artists will be competing, they would compete for 6 months in a year. Sometimes I have to compete for 11 months. So me being a Paralympian is a blessing. It's still a blessing for me because even though if I don't have a bad season with the entries or with the regular guys, I still have Paralympics. You know, so me competing with the regular guys is a bonus to me. It just helped me make me more strong mentally.
And what is that like when you, let's talk a little bit about the Olympics or the World Games. What is that like when you're out there, knowing that your nation, obviously your whole nation can't come to support, but they're there in spirit and they're there supporting, you know, in different ways. What does that feel like, knowing that you have that backing, or do you feel like you have to please, or what is that like? What's the urge to please?
Well, the urge to please is, first of all, is my coach and myself and my family, you know, and the country. Obviously, yes, I'm a Trinidad and Tobago national, so definitely the country is very important. Every time you go there to represent the country, you have the national flag on your chest, you know, so there's a lot of pride. And you know, whether you win or you lose, there will always be persons or critics who will be saying good or bad things, you know.
Wow.
So So when I go to major meets, I tend not to focus on what people think about me or say, but I just go to give a good account of myself and just show people that we as a small country or island have a lot of great potential.
And what is that like, Akeem, in terms of when you won your first medal? When you won your first medal, give us a little, if you could go back in time a little bit, what that felt like.
Well, my first junior medal, I remember my dad was back home in Tobago. And I guess when I finished complete, my coach and the national coach was very shocked that I actually did a standing throw and win a silver medal in KARYN'S. You know, and I remember when I called my dad was in court, he went to purchase a TV and I hear he shouting loud in court. And I was ashamed, you know. I was ashamed, but I wasn't there. My sister was there. She was calling me telling my father's beef, and I was real ashamed, but I was also laughing because I know I bring a lot of joy to my father, and I don't know how to explain that moment. It was just overwhelming to say.
Wow, Akeem, you're talking and my paws are giving me the little chills. No, that's fantastic. And maybe at the World Games, what was it like to win the top medals there? What was that like?
All right, so the World Game, my first World Champs was in Doha, Qatar, and I had a really bad campaign because after coming off from the Parapan in Toronto, I ended up having the same injury was acting up again. You know, so I was fortunate to come back with a bronze medal and also I broke a world record in the javelin, which I came fourth in the javelin, you know, and I was really disappointed, but I was also thankful for having broke the world record with what the physios was saying that my season was going to end. So I think I was accomplished and I just make inner peace with myself and say, well, you know what, next year is a good year. Next year, if I keep working and I stay healthy, I'm going to perform really well. So from World Champs, I end up going to, I will say, a larger scale of success, which I broke the world record in the javelin and also won gold.
Wow, that's fantastic. What type of mental preparation do you go through? Is there something that, you know, to share with the youth? Is there something that you can leave with them in terms of the mental side? How do you prepare mentally for going out there and there's so many thousands of fans and you want to do well for your dad and you want to do well for yourself, and how do you deal with all that pressure mentally?
Well, personally, for me, I don't put any sort of a pressure on myself. You know, I look for a lot of fun things to do before my competition. I also take my mind off the competition because from the time you start thinking about the competition, you start defeating the purpose of going to compete. You know, when you're studying other persons that train further and you're going to be there or running faster than you're going to be there, you know, you tend to go into the competition being a little bit timid. So for me personally, I used to play a lot of games, you know, go for walks, take pictures, do fun stuff, you know, and when in the morning of the competition, you know, I also think about just executing my technique and moving as fast and pushing our shot put or discus as hard as possible.
Wow, that's amazing. So if I got you correctly, it's a question of not overthinking things.
Yeah, it's all about whatever make you feel comfortable. You try to do it and just focus. Just shut out the world. It's all about you when you're going to compete. You're the only one on the track or on the circle, on the field. So think about yourself, think about being safe, and think about just excelling and keep developing as an individual.
And I'm guessing that's what you call laser focus.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing. And obviously traveling and going to all these championships and games. Give us an idea of somebody you met, one of the other athletes that you met and that you would never forget, and maybe you exchange a story or something with that athlete, something that you'll never forget.
Well, to me, I think I never met my role model, and that is the person that I really look up to because that was Brian Oldfield. He was a former world record holder from the United States. You know, and as I said, when I made my first character games, I wasn't serious. I was just in it for just saying I make a national team. But I think when I was my second year in under 17, I wrote him I sent him an email asking for some tips and stuff like that. I didn't get that email. I didn't get a response until about 4 to 5 years afterwards. You know,
Wow.
and he gave me a lot of tips on, you know, I wanted to learn his technique, what he was doing, which would be the rotation. And you know, afterwards he used to send the programs and stuff. I used to take videos, send back to him, and eventually I come and I broke the national record. Keeping in mind I was never a successful athlete when I was younger. I didn't have no records. I used to always could be run out like fourth, fifth in local meets. And after doing what he said, just the way he said it, you know, that does show once you have self-discipline, anything can be possible, because he was thousands of miles away and I just been doing whatever he said. And I was able to break the national record and make senior teams and different teams and also win medals globally. So I would have to say Van Oldfield was the person that I would always say is my role model, and he was truly inspirational to me.
And that's really you know, you showed a lot of persistence there, because, you know, as you say, getting fourth, fifth, sixth, and not giving up, and then getting that extra advice from one of your mentors.
I remember when I was back then, when people always ask me, but you come in fifth and sixth, you could even quite be able to come to and come fifth and sixth, so why you still coming? And I've been saying every time I come, I improve. You know, so no matter if I come fourth or fifth, once I keep doing our personal best, or I keep showing and seeing that I'm making progress, that is the most important thing to me as an individual. It's all about self-progress.
Well, that's fantastic. That's really, really, really fantastic. And while I'm going to ask another question, I want you guys to start raising your hands to ask Akeem any questions you'd like. So I want you guys to ask some questions as well. All right. So my last question for you, and I know we're going to get some questions from the guys, from the kids on. My last question to you is, do you see yourself one day getting into coaching, and maybe talk a little bit about the coaches that you've had?
All right. So a lot of persons ask me this question. I think I would volunteer to coach. I wouldn't take it as a job, because I would say I'm an athlete, and I would always say that coaching is a big job. And, you know, there tend to be some persons that when they get successful as athletes and stuff, they tend to show you as a coach bad face and stuff like that. So as some old people say, coaches are ungrateful work, but coaching is also a very important work, because not every kid can relate with their parents or have conversation with their parents, but they tend to do it with their coaches. You know, so it's also a very important role for a coach to have a great connection with the athletes. You know,
Wow.
Definitely, I think I will just do voluntary work. Athletes who need assistance and stuff like technical advice and stuff, I will be willing to help, but I wouldn't take it as a job.
Wow, that's fantastic. And just tell us quickly about the type of coaches that you had. What was that, the type of coaches? Because you would have had different coaches.
All right, so my dad was my very first coach, and then when I started to do the rotational technique, I've been training and working along with Franklin. He was supervising me as a coach who had experience with the technique. And I also had, well, based on national teams, they when they select me for national tours and stuff, I work with Ishmael Lopez as the Cuban coach. You know, he also imparts some good advice to me as a coach. And during 2019, 2020, I've been working with a new coach. His name is Tony Duarte. He's from Arizona in the USA. You know, so that's my current coach right now. And I would say everybody I work with, or everybody had, no matter how different it was, everybody had the same vision, and that was for me to be a better version of me and to be successful in life.
Wow. And have you gotten a chance to speak with like Cushion Walcott, and does anybody, how is that relationship with Cushion?
He's a very humble person, you know, and some persons might think when they watch an athlete, especially we as field athletes, you cannot watch us being on the field, and judge us by saying, yeah, everybody see me say I'm a very aggressive person. But that don't really apply, because people tend to say Keyshawn is stuck up or aggressive, but he's a very humble person, you know. And we as fellow athletes on national team, you know, we sit down, we have conversations about different needs and different approach, and we exchange ideas.
Well, that's awesome, and so I guess, and that is also a great support for you as well. Could you?
Yeah, I would also
Go ahead.
say Cleopatra. She was always like a big sister to me on national teams. You know, she always looked up to me as a senior athlete to me. So I would also like to say to Cleopatra, thank you very much for everything you did for me and the younger athletes that are coming up now.
That's awesome. Cleopatra also in her own right is fantastic. Can we get some of you the participants to ask some questions, please? Can you please, you guys, please, can you ask some questions? Not often we get to chat with world champions, you know, Olympians. Can we ask some questions? So Yannick, can you unmute and go ahead and ask, please? Go ahead, Yannick. Can you unmute and go ahead and ask? Sorry.
Are you hearing me?
Hello?
Yes, we are. Go ahead, Yannick.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, I have SEA coming up like on Tuesday. So I want to know like how to not put pressure on myself to pass so I won't be nervous on the day.
You know, well, SEA, I guess everybody will be, well, timid by doing SEA because it's a very big demand and the parents have an expectation of you passing to their first choice, but it all come to you. At the end of the day, no matter what school you pass to, it's all about you going to learn in the establishment. You know, and whatever you've been doing over the past 5 to 7 years are learning. You know, it all comes down to that day. So whether or not you don't pass to your first choice, you know, there is always room for development in secondary school. So don't pressure yourself and just always keep God in your mind. Always pray before you do everything. In that way, everything will be easy for you.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Do we have any more questions, please? Is it Isaiah Wilson? Isaiah, please unmute and ask. Please go ahead.
What made you want to do the sport of javelin?
It was a bonus event for me in the Paralympics because I mostly got to discus and javelin. But first of all, I was never a discus thrower and I was never a javelin thrower. I'm a shot putter, you know, so I just did it as a second event. So in case I fail in one, I still have a next one to capitalize on.
Oh, that's fantastic. Come on, guys. Come on, more questions. Come on, more questions. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Akeem will have to leave in a bit and then Karyn will take over. But come on, guys, please. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. This is your time. This is your time. And then we have Tivan. Tivan, you want to ask another question? Yes, Tivan, go ahead, please.
I would like to know what would it take to represent your country individually, and how do you handle the burden of representing your country?
All right, well, first of all, if you're doing an individual event, there is standards you have to work towards, you know, and once you get them standards or close to these standards, sometimes you get shortlisted, or if you are training and you develop to the level where you are attaining standards, then you will be selected to represent the country. Me dealing with the burden of representing my country, as I said before, I do it for myself and my coach and my country, you know, but most importantly, I do it for myself. So I don't pressure myself because I know at the end of the day, the country there will always be persons in the country supporting you, whether you win or lose, you know. So knowing Trinidad and Tobago is a country that there's great support especially when we leave the country to go and compete. So I don't think there's a pressure for me or any other individual when they are competing. You just do it for your country and do it for your love of your country.
That's awesome. And I see Yannick. Yannick has another question. Go ahead, Yannick, please.
What is your end game in track and field?
Can you repeat?
What is your end game in track and field?
My end game?
Yeah, like basically your last goal.
All right, so my last goal is to make the Olympic Games, to qualify for the Olympic Games, because to make the Olympic Games and the World Championship Games, which will be a big task, but I know is something I want to do. So I will keep working until I accomplish it. And after that, I basically accomplish everything in the sport because I'm triple world record holder. I'm in the Guinness Book of Records. So I don't think there's anything much that I accomplish after that. And I also want to see a lot of young kids following my footstep or Keyshawn Walcott footstep.
Tell us, Akeem, what is that like? When you got the chance to enter the Guinness Book of World Record, what was that like when that actually happened?
Well, I remember a person was messaging me and telling me congrats about the Guinness Book of Record. I thought it was some kind of prank or something. I didn't believe at first, until person started to send pictures, and then I officially get the call, and that was the icing on the cake for me, 2017. Because after me being featured on the Guinness Book of Records, I also had the opportunity to go to Japan, and I've been working with scientists over there where I've been doing I was doing the biomechanics, studying my technique, analyzing the way I throw, the reason why I throw so good standing, and I learned a lot in Japan, and they learn a lot from me because I went to a couple of universities, compete against the national record holders. It was fun. So I think that year was just a perfect year for me.
So you're gonna say, Akeem, that there is hope for our youth, right?
Definitely, there is hope.
Right, and I think of one of the participants here who might be a little bit shy to ask a question, but really wants to get some little, because you gave quite a few gold nuggets, some other gold nugget that you want to give them, that in terms of, hey, that's sure that broke the camel back for me.
Can you repeat?
Yeah. So any words that you think will.
All right. Yeah. So in life, there is always hope. Always remember that, because everything you do, put God first. And also remember to live for yourself, live to be a better version of yourself and your family, because it's also good for you as an individual to have expectations or set goals, because every time you accomplish a goal, you should set a next goal. While in the process of setting or accomplishing a new goal, you should keep setting new ones, and that way you keep elevating as an individual. So
I think somebody unmuted themselves.
Yeah, so definitely keep working towards excelling as an individual, and with God, everything is possible.
That's awesome. With God, everything is possible. And Isaiah Wilson, go ahead and ask your question, please. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Isaiah's mommy. So he insisted that I sit here to speak to Akeem. Akeem, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So you would call me Mrs. So I taught Akeem in school, and you were doing excellent. So continue the excellent.
That was definitely one of my favorite teachers.
Yes. All right, so he insisted that I sit and listen. So continue the excellent work, my dear.
Thank you very much, Miss.
Miss, I have to ask you.
Yes, go ahead.
What was so fantastic for you, seeing Akeem achieve all these things, knowing him from young and seeing him achieve? Well, tell us how that felt for you as a teacher, a school teacher.
Well, the thing about Akeem is that he was very humble there. He was very humble, very disciplined. All right. If he didn't do something correctly, he would go back and do it again, over again. And that really stood out. And I think that kind of paved the way for him now, as he's a big superstar, as we would call it. All right. So that's a lesson for everybody. You see, being disciplined and being humbled, even at the smallest and little things, it really helps you as you move along. Yeah. So continue working diligently.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Miss, you're not gonna get away so easy.
Sure, go ahead.
What do you think about the concept? And obviously we have Akeem as a role model, and Karyn Forbes will be on a little bit. What advice you want to give to these youths on the call in terms of there is hope?
Well, I always instill, especially in Isaiah, that you can do all things no matter what. You have to set your mind on the fact that you can achieve all things, especially putting God first at the forefront. And at times we allow situation and circumstances to make us think and feel that we are unable to do stuff. All right. So like, you know, Akeem would have started off saying that he started off training on a farm at home. And I know Akeem from training, after school, he would run over to Shore Park just to, you know, just to continue his training. So with anything that you do, whether, you know, being in athletics, whether being in football, you put your mind to it, understanding that do not look at your situation at hand, because our situation does not determine where we would end up in the end. Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, that's really, really, really good. I can tell that you have helped to produce many Akeem's. I can tell that already.
Yes, most definitely. I tend to try my best as possible to speak life, because when we speak negatively into individuals, we need to understand that whatever we speak have power, and it has the reality of manifesting. So speaking life is very important, even to speaking life to yourself as a young individual. All right, so moving forward, so I heard some students getting ready for C, and Akeem would have made the excellent point that it doesn't matter where you go, you continue to speak life and declare over yourself that you can achieve wherever you are placed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Akeem, and I know you have to go to you have an engagement with the media, and then Karyn is going to take over. Any parting words for us, please? Some parting words, please.
All right, so everyone, I would just like to say thanks for coming out. You know, you whatever positive parts or point you find, you heard me said today, you know, pick sense some nonsense and always stay away from the negative friends. You know, you would have friends who would want to lead you their way or mislead you. You know, but sometimes your parents may be telling you, don't like me that one. You know, it's better to listen to your parents and hear what they're saying and you analyze it. But don't feel that when your parents say don't do something because it is wrong or bad, don't feel that they hate you or dislike you. It's for your own good. Because I remember me as an athlete or me as an individual with my father. My father was a soldier, you know, and he was very strict, but I also had in mindset that, you know, my father was a soldier. He dealing with my father every day, knowing how strict my father was. It was like normal to me. You know, but other persons had it different. They had a different eyesight on my dad and my relationship. You know, so my father always supportive, you know, whenever we slip up, you know, we get licks or we get discipline, you know, and the licks never kill us. It make us better individuals. Or I remember a time I've been misbehaving in school, in primary school, and I qualified to go Trinidad for games, and my dad carried me to the port and make me watch the boat disembark, and it went on to Trinidad, and I was in Tobago. And I think that was my turning point as being a mischievous kid in primary school and going to secondary school and starting to see reality that, hey, the world will not support you when you are in trouble. You know, all your bad friends, whenever they lead you and you get in trouble, they will leave you and they will move on. You the one will be in the situation by yourself, and it always be your parents will be the one to come and help you. So listen to your parents, always have God in everything you do, and stay positive and stay committed to the cause.
Akeem, thank you very, 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 very much. Akeem, I can tell you, and I know Miss said words have power. You have books in you. You have many books in you. You're going to inspire a lot of people, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but in worldwide. So, Akeem, thank you very much. And we're going to switch off over to Karyn Forbes. Karyn, are you there?
Well, everybody enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you very much, Akeem.
No problem.
Yeah,
welcome, Karyn. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
What are things like across in Tobago? Tell us what are things like across in Tobago?
In terms of the COVID or just
the COVID and life in general, you know, a lot of are you seeing it as COVID the same in Tobago as it is in Trinidad? What is that like?
I think we're doing a little bit better than Trinidad, but of course, population is a little bit smaller to manage than Trinidad. So it's just really keeping safe, doing the 3 W's and doing what is within your control. Remember, COVID is here. It has been here since 2020. It's really not focusing on that, but focusing on the things that you have control over.
And Karyn, for you, what do you think of our theme? There is hope. Can you speak to that? What there is hope for the youth song? What does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, I would say that I am a strong believer of Christ. In him, I put my hope, right? And because of that, I know there is hope, right? At the end of the day, without him, we can't do nothing. And I just make sure that I spend time and do what's necessary, in trying to feed my mind with positive things. Yes, COVID is here, but if you continue to focus on COVID, you won't get anywhere, right? So you have to take it upon your own self to do the things that are necessary to fuel growth and positivity in everything that you do at this point in time. So use COVID as a stepping stone to be a better person, to do things in a more positive light.
Oh, that's awesome. And Karyn, tell us what it's like. So obviously you're one of the Trinidad and Tobago female players, and you've been at the national team for a while. Give us some times in that journey, even before you got to the senior team, when you really had to rely on there is hope. I can make it. Can you share some of that with us, please?
Well, first of all, when I now came to the national team, I was very shy, and that was at the age of 13. I am 29 now, so it's 10 plus years I've been there. So my first couple of years, I actually got denied from going on a trip. And because of that, I said, you know what, Karyn, you have to change your mindset. You have to do things a little bit different. But I still bear in mind that I was a little young and it was a different setup, right? It was more professional than what I used to from the primary school level. So I took my hope and I fuel it into action and I allow it to push me through to making this the 17s, 20s, and senior and beyond. So that moment when I wasn't able to make the team, I utilized that as a stepping stone to say, okay, now I have to do better in certain areas in order to continue to improve not only in football but in life in general.
So how important? So Karyn, do me a favor, because there's a light right at the side of your head. If you could block the light off. Yeah, there was a bright light just All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's cool. So Karyn, you share with us one of your challenges that you feel open to share that was really a challenge for you. You want to share that with us?
Sure. In terms of football and coming down to Trinidad, stuff like that.
Anything you feel open to share, life in general, coming to Trinidad, anything you feel you want to share.
Okay, so basically what I will say is that when I was younger, I wasn't as bold as I am now, right? And that just shows growth. In everything in life, you just never know what could meet you, right? I have developed into a leader, right? When I was in school and college, I heard this question. It was whether leaders were born or made. And at that point, I was still going back and forth with myself saying whether leaders were born or made. But then, the conclusion I came to is the fact that leaders are made. In my opinion, no answer is wrong. In my opinion, why? Because I was never this bold. I was never this person, and on my journey in life, my circumstances in general, you understand, had made me into this person. So I will definitely agree that leaders were made. So where you're talking about challenges, all different things has made me who I am. And I would say that one of my greatest challenges was schoolwork, right? Because I was never a book person. I always just wanted to play football. Just give me the ball and that's all I want to do. But then I get to understand the importance of gaining an education, right? And I buckled down and I said, you know what? I am going to do something to help my mother. So my mother really seeing her struggle was something that was a challenge for me. And I decided to do something about that by making myself somebody in society, right? And doing positive things that I could eventually help her.
When you talk, Karyn, about being a leader, so you realize that leaders are made. Yeah, you could become a great leader. And what age you think leadership could start? What for you? What age can leadership start?
Well, I just always say, right, no matter what, you can lead in your own way, first of all. And I think people tend to forget that, right? You could be a leader of your own life because your life is your responsibility. So I will start there, right? There's no specific age for you to become a leader, but you can follow to a point until you think that you are ready to take on an opportunity that requires you in a position to lead. But besides that, you can lead in your own way. So leadership goes right across the board. So no defining age to state whether you should be a leader at age 5, age 6, 10, 11. You have to rise up and see that in life, it all boils down to you and whatever decisions you make. So I quickly recognized that after a while, because yes, I didn't born with no gold spoon, but I had to create my own gold spoon, right? And from the moment I recognized that, that's the leadership part of me in understanding that my life is my future and I have to make decisions that fuel that. And my action also have to match what my mind says. So mindset is everything, So definitely I would say no specific age to be a leader. You just have to want certain things for yourself and lead yourself to those goals and stuff that you want in the future.
Karyn, that is fantastically powerful. That is so powerful what you just said there, right? What is so powerful? Karyn, obviously you're playing in a team sport, and you know at your level you're playing against some very tough opponents. And show us how leadership has helped you in terms of facing these opponents.
Well, first of all, it's never easy. It's never easy, I would say that, but that doesn't mean that it is impossible, right? And we know playing against the likes of the USA, if most people know about football, you're talking about Abby Wambach, Alex Morgan, just the thought of being able to play amongst the best. It's not easy, but it's a great opportunity for you to really get over your fears, right? And just attack it, because what's the worst could happen? So now I just told myself, they are human beings just like me. Yeah, they may be able to get a little bit more exposure because of the opportunities, but that doesn't mean that in the game, we are going to play more than 90 minutes. So it's 90 minutes just to give your best. No matter what you do in life, it's just to give your best, and you never know what your best could do. So that's just my thought process going up against anybody that's good. I am as good as you. I have to tell myself that, because guess what? David and Goliath. Nobody expect David to win. Just saying.
And Karyn, I was just going to talk about David and Goliath. Because coming from a very small nation,
yes.
a very small nation, and facing as some would say, the mighty USA, who has obviously the resources and so. But
yep.
Have you? I want to share a little bit about your teammates. What role did you play in terms of when your teammates looked at Goliath and said, "Well, I don't know if we can do this today." What role did you play in encouraging them, and how did you encourage your teammates?
Well, first of all, I will tell them what is the worst could happen. At the end of the day, we're doing this for our country, right? And if everybody give their best here, then trust me, our best, you never know what I could do. And collectively, we could be a force to be reckoned with. So of course, I will fuel them to tap into their true self. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's a team sport, but if everybody gives their best, I believe together we could achieve something. Yeah.
And you talk about, Karyn, giving your best. How important does confidence, what role does confidence play in giving of your best?
In everything you do, you have to be confident. Even if you don't know how to be confident, just be confident, because guess what? The power of your tongue. No matter what you do, you speak life into your life. As Akeem said, you have to speak life, right? There's light at the end of the tunnel. Once you believe in whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter who wants to fight you down, nothing. Your confidence in yourself has to be built by your self-esteem. So you have to fuel yourself, pump yourself. If it's music you have to listen to in order to get yourself at your best. Everybody use different things in order to get themselves at their best. right? Whether it's listening a motivational video, it doesn't matter what it is. Once it allows you that energy, because energies do transfer, right? And once you get that energy to go and do your best at anything, know that will automatically build your confidence. So it's basically whatever you think that may be something that you could gravitate to. Like for me, I listen to music. I listen to anything that allows me the opportunity to fuel off of it, which again, as I said, is motivational videos. So I'll watch that after, before a game. I'll watch a player that I may like before a game as well. So I could see certain things that, and do certain things, right? Also, a big thing that I do a lot is visualization. I visualize my higher self, and that contributes a lot to my confidence, because I think visualization is important.
So, and while Karyn is speaking, you guys, please, I'd love you guys to raise your hand so we can, because this is about you. Students, this is about you. I want you guys to ask some questions to Karyn as well. So please raise your hand, to ask Karyn some questions. And Karyn, I know we're gonna get some questions in a little bit. My question to you would be, in terms of injuries, have you had to deal with any major injuries in your career?
Yes, I have to. I had to.
What was that like?
I didn't hear you.
Sorry, you go ahead and share with us, please. What was the injuries like?
All right. From a tender age, I had some knee problems. So I did 2 cartilage surgery. Of course, it was very difficult at that time because, football is all I wanted to play at that time, right? And not being able to do so, and the process of coming back, it was tough. One of my surgeries actually took a whole year and a half for me to actually feel, fully ready to go again. I almost thought like this was it for me. But, the little progression that I've been getting within the days, I thought that it wasn't enough. But then, you know what? I said, Karyn, at the end of the day, nothing will happen just so. I need to give myself time. And from the moment I was able to jump back up and play again, that was my joy. But going through the process, it was never easy because you had to work like 3 and 4 times harder in order to get back to where you supposed to be, or the level that you should be playing at.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yannick Lewis, please go ahead and mute and ask your question, please.
Why did you choose to play football instead of another sport?
Well, I would first start off by saying that I used to play cricket before. But when you're going up to bowl for the cricket, right? And the batsman bat the ball right back at you. I used to be so scared of that. So I was like, hey, I was good at it. I was like, nah, cricket is not my thing. But football in general, I used to play with boys at a tender age. And while playing with boys, I felt very joyous, right? So I was like, hey, Karyn, I feel you have more potential in this. So I started to push myself even more. But also I grew up in a football family. And I think that is another thing that sort of fueled me choosing football. Not only being exceptional, but also the fact that I was in a family and in an environment that also actually my family members and friends would have pushed me, right, to also continue, further, because they saw something in me and I saw something in myself. So football really brought joy to me, and I chose that because I thought that I was very exceptional in it.
Karyn, tell us about you played abroad a little bit. Tell us what was that like, playing abroad?
Okay, so I played in Iceland. That was always a dream, to play professional. I could achieve anything else in this world right now, but to play professional was such a joy for me. And being able to be there, I always wanted to compete, not only against my own on the national team, but to put myself in an environment to see how good I will be amongst other people that share the same sentiment, or you should say the same sport that I do. And having that opportunity to go out and play abroad, it brought a different level of focus to me. Why? Because I knew I had to be better than the average. So I needed to get myself up to scratch. So I trained 6 days a week before departure because I didn't know what I was going to expect. So I didn't care. I said, I am going to be over ready, right? I prefer be over ready, right? Than to be under prepared and then come back home. So I was ready from the moment I got the contract, right? And I worked my butt off. I worked my butt off. When I leave here, I was ready. And when I got there, I was still ready, you know, and I did well over there. And I'm so thankful because the exposure, being able to play in Europe was real good for me. I kid you not, like it was a dream come true. A dream became reality for me. And I will love to continue on that pathway and keep challenging myself, because the only way you will know whether you are good or better, right, than people or could compete at a high level is if you put yourself in those kind of situations. And I have done that and I've done well. And, you know, I'm thankful for that.
Thank you very much, Karyn. Israel Alexander, can you unmute and ask your question, please?
So I was wondering, did anyone ever say that you couldn't do something because maybe you were female or because you fell a little bit, maybe because of a serious injury that you maybe were limping or something?
Could you say that one more time?
Was there ever a day where someone said that you couldn't do what you wanted to do because maybe you are female or something else?
Well, you know, putting into football, people always think like, you know, this is for boys and stuff like that, right? And yes, I had a lot of people that felt like, you know, why am I wasting my time on football? Because our country this, our country that, it doesn't have much opportunities. But I wasn't even studying them, because at the end of the day, God had a plan for me. And I took all those negatives and make it into a positive. And I understand what football has done for me. I am telling you, I hold right now the girl that was in primary school and in high school and did not want to go to school. I hold a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. And I am myself studying like, really? So if I could do it, not liking school at all, but understanding the importance after a while, right? Where's the importance of school? Where's the importance of school? Then I'm telling you, definitely anybody could do it. Anybody could do it.
That's brilliant. Johan, can we have, is it Isaiah Wilson? Isaiah Wilson, can you unmute and ask your question, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Forbes. Miss Forbes, is
Yes.
there a role model that you looked up to?
Isaiah, fantastic question. You just need to say it a little louder, buddy. Just say it a little louder.
Is there a role model that you looked up to when you were playing football?
That's a good question. You know who is my role model? My mother. Why? Because at the end of the day, I saw what she endured to ensure that I reach where I am for today. So I always look at her and allowing the struggles that we have went through, right? To allow myself to be a better person. There are people in football that I like, I might like to watch, but the only person that I want to be able to please, to make happy, to ensure that she be able to experience or enjoy anything that she wants because of what she has done for me and stood by my side on every single journey, in every single walk, and every single pathway is my mother, right? There's a lot of people that don't have parents here today in life, right? But I appreciate my mother because first of all, if it wasn't for her, I would have never been here. So that's the first thing that I'm grateful for. And then the second thing is by she continuing to whatever necessary that I had needed with the limited resources, She ensured that I was able to be equipped with enough to achieve and be successful for today. And for that, I will continue to make her my role model.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Because, you know, normally people will call the top athletes in the world as role models. And you have chosen to your mom, which is excellent. You know, and I'm going to ask Johan Contasi to ask a question in a little bit. Johan is all the way in Seattle in the States, right? But before Johan speaks, what type of extra work, Karyn, would you advise athletes to do outside of their regular training? Or how would you advise them in terms of they want to do a little bit extra?
Okay, so that's a good question. What I will say though, no matter what you want to achieve in life, when you go into that training, it's not enough. Personal training is very important. The time that you put in, besides actually going into a session with your coach, will determine a lot more of your success, right? Literally right now, I train 5 days a week. 5 days with no excuses, 2 hours every day. Why? Because at the end of the day, I know what's my goal. My mindset has to match my actions. Therefore, I have to be willing to do more, no matter what. It has no question, the work has to be done. Nobody has been successful in this life without putting in work. Work go hand in hand with success. That is why you have to put in the work. Whatever you reap is what you're gonna sow. So you have to ensure that you are willing to do more. No matter what, you have to do more. You have to do extras. It is the only way. And that fuels mindset. Your mindset has to be right, no matter what.
Karyn, that was so powerful. My mindset has to match my actions. I want you to expound on that, because are you saying that sometimes somebody decides, okay, I have the right mindset, but they still sit on a chair, they never do anything, they never get up? I want you to expound on that for me, please. What does that mean?
So basically, right, there are a lot of people that dreaming, but they're dreaming without actions. So there are people who will have dreams and they will keep saying, yeah, I always wanted to do this, I always wanted to do that. But it remains a dream because they don't want to do the work. Every successful person, it would always be a good storyteller. Why? Because they'd always have things that they would have encountered and they have to be able to find a solution in order to get to the top. So your mindset, every single thing that you do, you could get a mindset without action, it's not going to happen. Even if you have a piece of paper, drop in some nuggets here. Even if you have a piece of paper and you have it in your wallet, in your bag, that every time you go into that bag, you see that paper, you're subconsciously reminding yourself, hey, I have a goal. And that goal has to be matched with actions, actual actions. No matter what happens, you have to keep pushing. Just keep pushing, no matter what. Because challenges will come. We came into this world and meet problems. We're going out into this world and we will leave problems. But people has been successful even if they had problems. It's just how you react to it. So you have to understand it ain't got no smooth road to success. It ain't have that. There are days it's going to be more difficult and you have to motivate yourself a little bit more than usual. And that is fine. But you just have to understand the ultimate goal is to reach over there, which is to be successful in whatever you want to do.
So are you saying, Karyn, that internal, intrinsic motivation has to come from you? What if people are saying, well, I'll only do it if I get X, or I'll only do it if I get Y? How is having the motivation without even getting anything? How does that work? How does one develop that?
First of all, you have to acknowledge your goal. You have to acknowledge where you are, right? Now, a lot of people in this time is thinking of things that they do have. You have to be grateful for what you have. You have to understand, when you start to understand and have the humility to know, hey, this is where I'm at in life, but this is where I want to go. Right? So acknowledge where you are. And when you finish acknowledge that, don't think about the problems, don't think about where you don't have. Ask yourself, it's not I can't, I can. How can I? So immediately your jargon changes when you understand success. So you now start to speak things into being, and that is exactly what you want, because a negative mind cannot perceive positivity. So you have to change your mindset. Once you change your mindset and change your thinking and equip yourself with more positive things and things that will give you a positive energy. And that's the thing. You have to be able to be in positive environment. Influences have a lot to do with how you're going to be successful, or if you're going to be successful. Your environment has a lot to impact on that, because people who have a vision, who have a mission, you will understand, and they can tap you on your shoulder. Hey, you could do better than this. Remember this, so your environment have a lot to do with that. So to answer your question, yes, you have to acknowledge where you are and allow your environment and the people around you, and even self, you have a mentor, that is good too. Because days that you're really looking for answers, or you need to be a little bit more motivated, you have people around you on the same mission as you.
That's so powerful. You're dropping so many gold nuggets. I mean, we came on this call not knowing we're going to be so rich at the end of it, and not rich in terms of gold and actual material things, but in terms of knowledge, because these are things that, Karyn, for myself, I wish when I was growing up, we all take different parts, of course, and I had this from a young age. I had this from a very young age in terms of that type of support all the time, because sometimes, Karyn, I don't know if you'll agree, you want to say the right things to yourself, you want to encourage yourself, but you're not quite sure what to say.
What you do then?
Yes, what do you say?
Well, to be honest, let's be real. Life could be overwhelming sometimes, right? You doesn't always feel motivated sometimes. That's fine. You allow yourself to go through the process, but you still have to remind yourself that, hey, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling today, because you might sit there, allow yourself to feel that way for a moment, but you still have to pull it together. You still have to, right? Because we are human beings. We are going to go through different walks in life. It's not perfect, it's not perfect. I wasn't always like this, but I grew, I developed, I continue to feed myself around things that is going to help me. And because of that, I was open to learning, and a lot of people close their mind. Not because I've spent X amount of years on the national team doesn't mean that I am done with learning because I knows it all. No, you just never know, and the exposure, I read a lot now, and I never used to read, but I understand the importance of reading. It's gaining knowledge. The more you learn is the more you see. And that's just life right now. So you have to keep an open mind, regardless of what there will be some downtimes in your life, but don't allow those downtimes to make you stay there.
Karyn, we have Johan Contaste, who is Trinidadian, but he's out in Seattle as one of the top knowledgeable coaches in the US. And you know how big the US is. And we're so fortunate to have him here. Johan, please unmute and say your words, buddy.
Hey, thank you very much. I would just like to start by saying that Karyn, it was a pleasure hearing you speak, and I hope sometime in the future that I would be able to meet you in person, because like Dion was saying, you are there are keywords and there are things that you're saying, and the only way that you can know these things is if you have gone through the experiences to be able to be as knowledgeable as you are. So I hope everyone is paying close attention to what you're saying, because our when you leave the Trinidad and Tobago, when you leave the shores of Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes most of us, our journey is kind of similar. So my journey is a little bit similar to yours, but I think what I enjoy about yours so much is that you're from a much smaller, you're from a smaller island than I am. You're from Tobago. So when you're saying about dreaming and like developing goals and having the objective and goal in mind, yeah, that is very, very important, because once you have all of those things, you can accomplish all of your goals. Having said that, what I would like you to just touch on, I have been in and out of the conversation, but because I have a 5-year-old son, but I would like you to just speak on like different experiences, but difficult experiences in your career or in your life that also helped you and helped to mold you into the type of person that you are in terms of like injuries and recovering from injuries. I don't know if you've ever had like a bad injury or you've had a bad experience where like you had a negative experience with probably a coach or just a certain environment, and what you did to overcome a bad situation or a terrible injury. And yeah, if you can share just on that sort of a mindset also, because sometimes almost everything sometimes goes wrong. Not everything always goes according to plan. So have you ever had some sort of a situation where you had to like dig deep, or you had to persevere through a difficult situation? Because I think almost every athlete has an experience like that. Could you give us some advice on recovering from an injury or from a disappointing situation?
Okay, I spoke about the injury earlier, but I
Right.
definitely could raise a disappointing situation. When I first left here and I went to Iceland, the girls weren't passing the ball to me. And that was so difficult because, again, it's like a player coming in to try to take your position. And you know how that goes. So everybody competing, everybody trying to show the coach, hey, I'm supposed to be here. And here am I am an international player, right? Coming into the setup, but they didn't want me to express myself to show the coach the reason why he brought me here. Now, of course, the coach would have seen tapes, and the tapes is good things. You know, nobody put bad things on a tape. So it was quite difficult for me because I didn't know how to deal with something like that. You know, I'm just used to, being played the ball. I'm used to being on the ball. I'm used to being on doing a lot of things where Trinidad and Tobago football is concerned when I was in college, etc. But in this type of setup, it was just quite difficult. So I found myself getting frustrated because I can't get the ball. I can't get the ball. You know, until one day, the coach, after a week, the coach walked up to me and he said to me, I am seeing you coming for the ball and they are not giving it to you, right? And what gave me comfort or what helped me, besides the coach telling me that, I was like, Karyn, you have to keep your goal in mind. Though it was difficult, I started thinking a lot of things, racism, you name it. So I started to think those things. But at the end of the day, I pulled myself together. I said, listen, I can't just go off thinking about things just so. I have to keep my eyes on the prize, right? And I immediately said, hey, whenever I get my chance, I'm going to do what I can do and let the Lord figure everything else out. And then, you know what happened? The coach walked up to me, said, I'm seeing you coming for the ball. And I'm going to talk to the girls to ensure that they give you the ball. Within that, the coach told me and talked to the team, everything flowed from there. But that was one of the most difficult situations because now you're away from home. You're among people that you can't even talk English to, right? English is not even their first language. So it was a bit difficult because it was a new situation for me. But then again, I was able to understand the quality. I was able to understand the competitive nature that came about or the coach provided when I got there and everybody was trying to make the team at the same time. So I got a little bit flustered, but at the end of the day, the ultimate goal was just to continue playing, and I did that.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead, Johan. Go ahead, buddy.
No, man, Thank you very much. I just wanted to just add my 2 cents there. And in terms of when we were talking about setting goals and objectives, sometimes situation like that happens. And what is the good thing about having an objective and or a goal in mind is that when you create, when players or athletes create that pathway and they know, okay, that is what is required for me to accomplish my goal. If you stray or there's a difficult situation, it's easier for you to find back your way and always continue to keep focus and maintaining that objective by having an objective. So it's really important. I just want to stress on that. Always believe in your goals and having an objective in mind and work towards creating that pathway. And no matter what happens along that journey, that pathway will always help you to find your end result, whether it's a good situation or if it's a bad situation. So once again, it's a pleasure hearing you speak, and I am and Dion, I appreciate you allowing me just to be a part of this. All right, thanks.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Most welcome. I mean, this very, very powerful words. Very, very powerful words. I saw Yannick had his hands up. Yannick, you want to go ahead and ask the question again, please? Go ahead, Yannick.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you play for like any league? And like, if so, do you think that you can handle like the challenges in the league?
Well, I think when you say challenges, what exactly you mean in the league? Or you're talking about the teams? What in general are you speaking about?
Like teams, players, and
Okay, so basically, my team that I went to play with, they were minus 50 goals, right? And this was a new coach trying to revamp the system. And when I went there, it was plus 36 goals, right? So the recruits that he made and what the implementations that he put in place actually helped the team. On that journey, yes, there were a lot of challenges in the league, right? With little gender bias and stuff like that. But again, those were things that I didn't have control over, right? That was one. And two, yes, there were more difficult games than some, right? Because in the game of football, it's just unpredictable. You never know who you're going to meet on the day. Even a low team or a team that is considered to be lower in the league, right? Could just pop up and just have like a fantastic game. So the mindset that you have to have going into any game is just giving of your best. Yes, some days you might be off. Some days, yes, you might have to dig a little deeper. But at the end of the day, once you walk off, being accountable that, hey, Karyn, you have done all that you can, then you should feel satisfied.
Wow. I want you guys to write in the chat for me. So everybody, you guys get a chance to participate. Write in the chat for me. And these are gold nuggets from Karyn. My mindset has to match my actions. So I'm going to give you guys a few because I was just taking quite a few notes. Karyn, good thing I have my notebook because I'm learning so much. So type that for me, guys. My mindset has to match my actions. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Well done, Yannick. Wow. And also, if you have your own personal notebooks, put it in the chat and also in your personal notebooks. I know some of you have been coming with your notebooks also. That's awesome. The next one is, she gave us so many. A negative mind cannot see positivity. A negative mind cannot see positivity. Who's the first to get that one? Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that, Michael. I love that. All right. Then dreaming without actions. All right. Dreaming without actions. Right. You cannot dream without actions. It's great to have dreams, but with dreams, there must be action. How am I going to make this dream a reality? Right? And you heard from Akeem, you heard from Karyn that they came from very humble beginnings. and have gone on the world stage. You cannot dream without action. So true, Isaiah. So true, Yannick. So true, Luca. That's so you guys are fantastic. You guys, I'm gonna throw one in there for you. Write this to me, type this to me. I am gonna do what it takes to make it. I'm gonna do what it takes to make it. It's not fancy words, but it's very powerful. I'm gonna do what it takes to make it. Put that for me. I love it. Love it. Come on, convince me in the chat that you really mean it. Convince me. Convince Karyn that you really mean it. I'm gonna do what it takes to make it. Put 1,000 exclamation marks at the end. I don't mind. Convince me. Convince us, please. All right. She also spoke about being careful about your influences. Who's around you? What influences you have around you? Are you gonna hang out with the pigeons and the doves, or you're gonna hang out with the eagles? I know Don would love that word, eagles. Tell me, who you gonna hang out with? The pigeons or the eagles? Which one? Who are you gonna hang out with? Eagles. Oh my gosh, look at how many exclamation marks. Aaron took away all the exclamation marks. My God, vroom, vroom in the Zoom, as Don would say. Vroom, vroom in the Zoom. They're going to hang out with eagles. Karyn, Don has that thing. Vroom, vroom in the Zoom. Nobody put it. I didn't see it. Vroom, vroom in the Zoom. Come on, let me see it. Vroom, vroom in the Zoom. We're going to soar like eagles. We're going to soar like eagles. All right? I got to be in the right environment. Got to be in the right environment. Don't hang out with negative people. Look at that. Broom, broom in the Zoom. I love it. All right. Is there anybody who's going to say, you're going to do what it takes? You're going to trust God. You're going to trust God because He's give us talents. He's given us talents. Be careful of your environments. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from alcohol. All right. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from alcohol. Right? You got to trust. As Karyn said brilliantly, it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be easy. Not your dream may not be somebody else's dream. That's your dream. That's your dream. All right? Israel loves it. Vroom, vroom in the Zoom. Karyn, please, any parting words? Because you said so many fantastic things. So I love it. Look up. So many fantastic things. Any parting words for us, Karyn?
Of course. Two things. No matter what you do in life, never let go God. Always keep Him at the top of your list. Because once you have Him there, you can achieve anything. That's one thing. And then the next thing is, if you're not willing to take no risk with your life, with your future, and put all your energy into that, then you would never get the reward. So yeah, there you have to take the risk for your life, for your future, in order to reap the reward.
That is so powerful. Somebody put that in the Zoom. I'm not going to repeat it. Somebody put that in the Zoom for me. Put that in the Zoom for me. That's another gold nugget. Wow. Yannick, no risk, no reward. Hey, yep. And what's the opposite of no risk, no reward? Who can get it first? What's the opposite of no risk, no reward? Somebody put it. Let me see who gets it first. Karyn, and the winner is, who's going to get it first? Yes risk, yes reward. I love it. Yes risk, yes reward. Yes risk, yes reward. Hey, another gold nugget from Karyn. You got to take some risks. I like to say choices, chances, changes. You got to make a choice to take a chance, else your life will never change. All right, let me say that again. You got to make a choice to take a chance, else your life will never change. We say some people call it 3 C's of life. But I like it. Yes risk, yes rewards. Give me another one. All right, give me another one. So instead of saying yes risk, yes reward, what can you say? Let me see. Who's going to get it first? Karyn, the winner is... countdown. Who's gonna be? Put it in the chat. Who's it gonna be? And it's many risks, many rewards. Hold up. Who was that? I gotta see who's that. Yannick, Lewis, put to the head of the class, son.
Yeah.
Many risks, many rewards. Take a risk, get a reward. I love it, Israel. Take a risk, get a reward.
Yep.
That is pretty. You guys are awesome. And last one, you guys put for me, Everybody put this 3 times to me. I have greatness inside of me. Everybody type that for me. I have greatness inside of me. Everybody type that for me. We almost finished. Almost finished. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? And the winner is, all right, Tevan. Well done. I love it. I want everybody on the chat to do it. I have greatness inside of me. Oh my God, this is what you call the chat on fire. Chat on fire. Kayla, well done. Israel, well done. Yannick, well done. I love the exclamation marks. Don't ever forget that, guys. Don't ever forget that you have greatness in you. Get up in the morning and say, I was born to be somebody. The world doesn't know your name as yet. The world is going to hear about you. Not to be boastful, but to inspire other people. Because yours, look at how Karyn is inspiring us. Look at how Akeem inspired us. Right? So remember that, everybody. Remember that. Karyn, could you end with a little prayer for us, please?
Sure.
A little prayer for the guys, please, for everybody.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity to be able to talk here today. I thank you for each of those kids today. I also ask that you help them, Lord Jesus. Lord, that you touch them in a very special way. Lord, help them to understand that you are there with them and you are there to guide them and protect them. And you give them the power, Lord, by bringing them on this earth, and they could do anything through you who strengthens them, Lord Jesus. Father God, I ask that you touch each of them in a special way today. And I ask that you continue to fuel them with goodness, Lord Jesus, and mercy. In your name, Father, as we depart, Lord, I pray for your goodness and mercies and blessings over their lives in no other name but your name. Amen.
Oh, that's fantastic. 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 Yeah. Thank you for that. On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, on behalf of the TTFA, Trinidad and Tobago FIFA Normalization Committee, we want to thank you, Karyn, and we know Akeem had to leave earlier, but thank the both of you for taking the time out, and Karyn for such short notice. But look, I'm so happy that you actually could come on and share these words with us. These kids will never forget you, right? Just how the Trinidad and Tobago team is going to start practicing, and Karyn is going to be part of that again, right? She's giving it a go again and going out with, I'm going to give my country the best. So we want to really thank you, Karyn, right? We want to thank all the people on the call. You guys are fantastic. I know there's a lot going on, but you guys made this sacrifice, because it's about sacrifice. You made the sacrifice, and you guys put in the chat something today you got on the talk that you'll never forget. Before we go, something you got on the chat on the talk today, whether it's Karyn or Akeem, that you got that you'll never forget. Put that in the chat for me, please. Somebody put that in the chat for me. No risk, no reward. I love it. Leaders are made and not born. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, come on, put some more stuff. Put some more stuff for me. You can put 2 things if you want, 3 things. She said quite a bit. Akeem said quite a bit. I like that one. Many risks, many reward. I'm going to do what it takes to make it. I love it. If you don't try, you won't know if you could succeed. Oh my gosh, these guys are brilliant. Dreaming without actions. Oh my, wow, 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 wow. This is fantastic. Keep putting your stuff in the chat. And Karyn, what I'll say to you, I know you started writing a book. I'm not sure if you completed, but you have many books in you. You have many talk. Get your suitcase ready. Get your suitcase ready. Get your Zoom ready. You can motivate anybody in the world, and I mean that very, very sincerely. Very encouraging. You share your life stories and some of your life stories. Right? It doesn't matter what happens to you. Right? Wow, look how many things that these guys are taken away. Have taken away. So, Karyn, on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, Yale, Antoine, for your great technical work again, Yale. We want to thank you, Yale, for all the work you do behind the scenes. This is not, everybody thinks this is Dion. This is not Dion. And like Karyn said, without God, I'm nothing. So I'm thanking God for this opportunity. So next week, we'll be same place, same time, same place, same time. And we're going to remember that there is hope. Let's not forget it. Let's not forget it. So Karyn, again, thank you very much. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. You guys, everybody have a wonderful afternoon. We're going to sign off right very quickly. So thank you very much, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, folks. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Look, I like that look. Thank you to you as well. Have a fantastic rest of your day. So thank you, everybody. So we are off. We're gonna log off. I will see you guys next week. Same place, same time. Bye for now.